Okay, so here we are. You saw the title. Let's get right into it. We all know what you're here for. So, first of all, I've kind of got a gripe with this Taco Bell. I ordered like $20 worth of food, which, if you know anything about Taco Bell, that's a lot of food for like a fast food restaurant. And they put all of it in this teeny little bag. And then as I was walking out, I had it like grip like this, like you would normally hold a bag, and it was so heavy that my finger went through the bag and it almost completely fell out of my hand. You can see where it ripped. So they definitely should have put it in a larger bag. They should have split it up into multiple bags. And this is a gripe that I've had with any fast food restaurant, but especially Taco Bell, because that's the one that I tend to eat at. That's like my favorite. I've had a gripe with them for years that like their food can be so dank if the employees do a good job and do things right, but half the time you get a bunch of people that don't care at all and end up completely screwing your stuff up. So anyways, we're gonna just try to move past that, and yeah, we're gonna open all this up. I'm still trying to figure out everything as far as setting up the camera and all, so I don't know, you'll have to bear with me. We'll have to just figure it out together as we go. But here's the sauces. I'm mainly a fire guy. I know this can get controversial. I'm mainly a fire, but occasionally I do dabble in the Diablo as well. But for me, I've heard people say that the fire is too hot and the mild is too tomatoey. And so I've heard people that are definitely more of a fan of the hot. But for me, I like things on the spicier side. I'm definitely a bit of one of those spice heads. So for me, the fire is like the perfect amount of hot. The Diablo can be a little too spicy, but sometimes I like that as well, like a nice super spicy bite. So I got 2 dipping cups of nacho cheese, because this is like the ultimate Taco Bell hack. You get dipping cups, you get sides of nacho cheese in these dipping cups, and then you can just like dunk your burrito or whatever else you have straight in there. And it's just kind of like the ultimate dankness. So this is gonna be, I'm not even sure. I think this is the veggie deluxe burrito. It's got black beans, rice, guac, and cheese and tomatoes. And I kind of got that one just to like sample, because some of their vegetarian stuff is actually pretty good, even if you are a meat eater. Some of it's still on point. Here we have the Doritos Locos. What is it? Chalupa? It's got the flatbread around it, and that, I think that might be newer, because maybe not, but I've definitely never tried it. So I saw that and I was like, that would be interesting to sample. We've got 2 Cinnabon lights for the dessert. Actually, I might have to go ahead and get a little taste test. Everybody knows that dessert is best before the meal. That's pretty good, but it's a little greasy at the same time. And then here's what should be a quesadilla, but they threw it in there under the rest of the stuff, and it got completely crushed and screwed up. It's like the most expensive thing on their freaking item, but every time you order one, they manage to make an absolute mess of it. So here's my freaking crushed, looks like it got ran over by an 18-wheeler quesadilla. And they didn't even, look, let me see if I can get a good view. Look at how they cut it. There's one cut right here, another one right here, so this is going to be a teeny little nothing slice. And it's not cut all the way through at all. It's just a freaking hot mess. And like I said, I mean, I feel like Taco Bell should be a dankness place to go. The menu is fire. They always screw your stuff up. So here we have, this is the little potato bites taco. That's like $1. And I really like their little potato bites. They're like quite tasty. And then this is like the, I don't want to break it because it's like fried down. I guess I'll try to show it after I take a bite. Well, we might as well begin. So we're gonna get that cheese dunk, and I'll adjust the camera to try to get a better view in a second. But I want to show the interior of this. So this has, it's got chicken, lettuce, tomato, cheese, and it's got like some kind of like zesty, creamy, I think it's like a creamy jalapeno sauce is what it is. And so that's all. This was like $20, but which seems pretty cheap for a meal, but at the same time, this is way more food than I would order normally. I kind of wanted to try to ball out for the little video. And like I said, you'll have to bear with me. I'm new to this. I don't really have any idea what I'm doing. Now you can't see my face. Maybe I'll have to sit down on the floor, get a view. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter if you can see all the food. Like I said, I'll have to figure this out as I go. But yeah, you kind of got a view. Maybe if we move this, then... Yeah, we'll put these side by side, so now you can kind of see all of those. And then we'll have our cheese cups maybe like kind of framing the scene here. We'll go ahead and finish our dessert before we really break into the meal. That one tasted better. I think they taste better if you just throw the entire thing in your mouth rather than trying to take dainty little bites of it. Yeah, but after he handed me the bag and I knew how much food I had ordered and it was in this teeny little bag, I just grabbed a ton of sauces from the little sauce area. Because I usually try not to be that guy that like gets greedy with it. But when I know they've just messed up my order, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to take all the sauces. I'm going to eat these Taco Bell sauces on everything I eat for the next 2 weeks. And that's that. But literally right when I was at the sauce area, there were a couple ladies that had just walked in. And like she literally watched me take a huge handful. But I didn't care. If she would have said anything, I would have been like, look, they just completely screwed up my order. So I don't care. Sorry. Okay, and then... Baja Blast. If you know, you know. This is like, in my opinion, one of the best Mountain Dew variations that they've come up with. Makes it even cooler that it's a Taco Bell exclusive. This is just like the bomb diggity. So anytime you go Taco Bell, you gotta get the Baja. And now they have 0 sugar Baja Blast in the fountain drink machines at the Taco Bell, which they never used to have. I also went to the whatever it's called, the convenience store. This is a Mountain Dew 0 sugar. I was trying to get some nice beverages because I figured I might be thirstier than just a single Taco Bell cup drink. This is a Crush Peach, which I think I might have had before, and I think, if I remember correctly, is pretty good. And then the Red Bull sugar-free, because I have not had my caffeine today. I almost got it's like ZOA. I think it's like the Rock's new energy drink he came out with. It was like pineapple coconut flavor, and I was like, that might kind of pair with the Baja Blast, kind of tropical Taco Bell vibes. But then I was like, no, I know I'm not going to actually enjoy drinking that as much as I'll enjoy a Red Bull. When it comes to energy drinks, it's like Red Bull or Monster. I like to try and stick with the sugar-free, low-carb, whatever, just to not ingest all that sugar and get even fatter than I already am. But on occasion, I definitely splurge on the regular ones when I know I've been eating like poop and it doesn't matter. But anyways, I know this is a lot of rambling. If you're here for the story time about my experiences working at Taco Bell, we'll go ahead and try to get into that now. Maybe I'll try to link, like, this is where I actually start talking about the topic at hand. But this format of video, the whole point is just to watch someone eat and ramble. So anyways, hopefully, probably no one will watch this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just do whatever. I'll just strip naked and start dancing around. No, I won't do that. The one person that does watch this will end up blinded forever if that were to happen. But So we're kind of starting off with this, I don't know, whatever it's called. I had it the other day. I think it's called like creamy avocado ranch chicken or something. It's good though. And it was then that he realized he should have gotten napkins. I don't want to get up and break the raw flow of the video, so I'm just going to be as messy as I want to be right now. Anyways, I mainly have two stories from my time working at Taco Bell. I didn't work there super long. I worked there like a few months over the summer when I was in college. And yeah, there's two specific kind of like stories that I feel might be entertaining that I remember, and then there's a bunch of other like little moments that I kind of remember. But the first main story I remember is that I was working there one day and someone ordered the 12-pack of tacos, the giant box of tacos. So I was working on the line and I started making 12 tacos. And I think it was hard shell, regular tacos. So I started making 12 of these tacos. I finished the box, make all 12, and then the cashier comes over and says, "Oh, the customer, says they misspoke when they ordered whatever. They actually wanted soft shell." And honestly, I think people will do this just to try to get free food. They'll wait until they know you finish making what they ordered and then say, "Oh no, I wanted this instead," thinking that you'll just give them both. But I wasn't having that. I was like kind of mad that I was going to have to make another 12 tacos. It's 24 tacos. That's a lot of tacos. That's a lot of work to be doing, especially when you've got other orders coming up on the screen and other stuff you're trying to worry about. So literally the 12 tacos that I had already made, I just took them to the back and just set them in the back and took them home after I got off work. And me and my family ate tacos for the next like several days. And that happened like a couple different times with just like single burritos or something. If someone would order the wrong thing, I would just set it to the side and eat it later. I remember one time like it was like the 7-layer burrito, which I don't think is on the menu anymore. I made one of those. I might have just made it for myself. I don't know. I just remember specifically making a 7-layer burrito and then having to take the trash out. And I like took the burrito to the dumpster area because I didn't want anyone to see me like eating at work. So I just like smashed down the 7-layer burrito like next to the dumpsters. Which sounds like so sad and like such a like a fat boy like depressed kid thing to do. But it's just like funny thinking back about that too. Okay. It's a little disorienting, like looking at the camera and like on the screen, it's like flipped from like when I'm sitting here. So on the screen, this is on this side. And so I like started to reach over here and then I was like, oh wait, it's on this side. I have to actually look in front of me and not at the, because I'm recording on my computer, so I can see the everything right in front of me. Okay, and the other main story I have from working at Taco Bell. When I was working there, I was like, this was like when I worked there was probably, I think it was like 2012 or 13. It was like a while ago, years ago. At that point in my life, I was like a college boy, and I was like really into drinking and smoking pot and fooling around and all that stuff. And now I've been sober for like 2.5 years. So just to be clear, this was in the past when I did all that stuff, but I'm trying to leave that far behind me. But whenever I had first started at the Taco Bell, the manager would like call me in to come work like every day off I had, because I think they were like really short staffed at the time or whatever. So he called me one day, and the first like several times I wanted to get hours. I wanted to prove that I was trying to be a good employee, whatever. So I would just come in whenever he would call me in on my day off. But then after like 2 or 3 times of that happening, I was like, nope. If he calls me, I'm not going to come in today. So literally I think I was drinking like a 40 ounce with my friend, like out at some basketball courts, like shooting around. And he called me and asked me to come in. And I just said straight up, I was like, no, like I'm drunk right now. I've been drinking, because I figured if I told him that I was drinking, he'd be like, oh, okay, like I'm not going to have someone come into work when they're drunk. I figured that was like better than trying to make an excuse or something. I was just like, no, I'm drunk. I can't come in. And he literally said, this dude said over the phone to me, he was like, oh, why don't you just take an hour or so to sober up and then come in at like 5 or 6 or whenever. And I literally couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he was telling me to just stop drinking and still come into work. Because at the time when I was younger and I was into drinking and everything, like it didn't work like that. It wasn't like have a few drinks and then sober up and go into work. Like I would drink, all night until I passed out in an unsafe and irresponsible way, which is why eventually I had to try to make the mature decision to stop drinking. But at the time, that's not how it worked. You don't, stop drinking and sober up. You keep drinking until you freaking go home and pass out. You know what I mean? So I just couldn't believe that he said that. And literally I kind of like laughed on the phone with him, and I was just like, no, like I can't do that. I have off today. Like I'm not coming into work. And he was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I just couldn't believe at the time, and still to this day, I can't believe that he told me that he said, oh, just like stop drinking and come in a few hours. That's just so like in my mind when I said that, I assumed that as soon as I told him I was drinking, he would be like, oh, okay, you can't work. I just couldn't believe that he was like, yeah, just sober up and come in. Because with my with how I drink, that's not how it works. You don't just stop drinking and sober up. Alright, so let's go ahead and break this quesadilla into slices. They didn't slice it all the way through at all, so I'm having to rip upon the vague lines, but this is basically how it breaks down, how they cut the quesadilla. This was the end piece, and it's all jagged and like not straight at all. This teeny one, when I ripped it, it pulled off some of the other slice, but essentially that's where they made the cuts for the second slice. And you might not be able to fully tell with how the camera is, but that's like nothing. That's like the width of like 2 fingers. That's like nothing. And then this was like the middle piece, and it's just a mess after trying to rip it apart. And then this is like the majority of the quesadilla. Just one huge slice on the side. So it's just, it just stresses me out that the most expensive item on their menu, they always seem to screw up. And just like, in just a way that it's like they blatantly don't care at all. Like I said, I've worked at Taco Bell. They have this little like, and stuff might have changed since I worked there. Like I said, it was a long time ago that I worked there. But it's like this little thing that has a handle on it, and you just kind of like press it, like do, and it cuts it into 4 slices. It's not hard at all to screw that up. Or wait, I think I said that wrong. It should not. It should not be hard. I can't articulate. The thing you use is very easy, is what I'm trying to say. It should you shouldn't screw that up. If you screw that up, it's because you clearly don't care about your job and are trying to do a poo-poo job just because you want to be spiteful and just don't care at all whatsoever. But I'm telling you, nacho cheese dipping cup takes it to the next level. Regardless of the fact that they screwed this up. And it's getting cold already. I don't know how it got cold that fast. I feel like I went to the store and came home and started doing this immediately. I guess this is what happens when you talk too much instead of just eating your food. I think we might go ahead and try a little bit of that hot heat. So I could reveal all the industry secrets about the Taco Bell kitchen. There's nothing too shocking that would make you not want to eat there anymore. At least there wasn't when I worked there. All the meat is frozen in bags, and then they have this like big metal thing that has boiling water in it, and there's these metal clamps, and you just put the bags of frozen meat in the clamp and then sink it down in the boiling water. And then there's like a timer for each item, how long it's supposed to be in there to cook it. And then you just cut the bags open and pour it into the dishes that are on the line. So obviously none of the meat is real or fresh. The refried beans are just like powdered in a bag, and you pour it in a dish and then, you know, pour boiling water over it and mix it up. Obviously it's a giant fast food chain, so none of the food is like fresh, like everything's in bags. No one's back there cutting up tomatoes or anything like that. They do have a sour cream gun though, which is probably the coolest thing. It's like this giant tube of sour cream, and it snaps down in this little metal piece and has a handle, so it's literally like a gun, and you like pick it up and you squeeze the handle and it like squirts out the amount of sour cream. Well, that's probably like the coolest insider behind the scenes thing I can give you about Taco Bell. So now we're sampling the whatever it's called, the potato bites. I'm kind of full already just from eating the full burrito, so I think I'm just gonna, in half of the quesadilla, so I think I'm just gonna sample all these. Try to think of any other final stories from my time working at Taco Bell, and then might go ahead and wrap this up. I know this is gonna be long. No one will probably watch it. You know, I don't have any followers at this point or anything, but you know, I've just been thinking about trying to start making YouTube videos. I've been watching a lot of the people that eat ridiculous stuff and just talk. For some reason, that's like entertaining, and it's supposed to be like you watch it while you're eating, so you feel like some sense of companionship if you're eating alone or whatever. But I'll watch those just like when I'm tired, lying in bed at night. And I don't know why, but it's just entertaining to me. So I just got this idea, like it'd be cool to eat Taco Bell and just tell stories from when I worked there. I just thought that seemed like a cool way to go about like an eating video or whatever. But those are the main two stories that I have. Like I said, everything else is just random little things. I guess I could also include stories from times eating at Taco Bell, because obviously I'm a fat boy and I eat at Taco Bell more than is appropriate. I remember one time, like fairly recently, within the past couple years, I went in there and there were a bunch of teenagers sitting there, and this guy like looked at me like he was like a poor, like sad boy orphan, and he was like, "Can I have a taco?" And I was just like, I didn't even order tacos. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I still remember that because it was just funny, because like he was obviously being a teenager and just trying to be like oh, let's, just see if this guy might actually give me something, whatever. But the way he said it was like so depressed and sad. He sounded like he had just like he was literally like a poor like orphan boy in like some movie, like standing on the street, and he was just like, "Can I have a taco?" And literally, I just said like I didn't order tacos because I didn't. And then he didn't know what to say at that point, how to continue the conversation, so he was just like, "Oh, okay." Mm, yeah. Yeah, so this is a cheesy gordita crunch, I believe, with the Doritos Locos as the taco shell inside. It's got the flatbread with the cheese on it, and then it's got the taco shell inside it with all the stuff in it. And that's different than the chalupa. The chalupa is just this flatbread, but they put it in a little thing and they fry it so it gets like hard and crispy, and that's the chalupa shell. But if it's the gordita crunch, it's just the plain flatbread around the hard taco shell. But honestly, their flatbread is kind of good. I feel like that's something that people don't really like think about that much. I think a lot of people just get tacos or like a burrito or whatever their go-to is, but their flatbread is, I feel like, a pretty underrated item, but it's actually like soft, and then when you get that crunch of the taco shell under it, it's a nice combo. And I like them using the Doritos to even add a little more flair to it. Oh, and I did want to specify that right now the Mexican pizza is like just breaking the internet. Everyone's going crazy for that, but I didn't even try to order one because the last few times I've been in Taco Bell, I've heard the cashier tell someone that they were out of Mexican pizza. And while I was at the little kiosk clicking, it was the first thing I saw, and I was gonna do that because that's a really trendy item right now, but I was just like, nah, like let me get some other stuff. And then while I was like on there on the little kiosk screen ordering inside the store, I heard the cashier tell someone at the drive-thru that they were out of something, and I just assumed that they were talking about the Mexican pizza because they've been out of that consistently. But that's another video idea I have, to do like a challenge to try and eat like 5 Mexican pizzas or something ridiculous. I'm sure other people have probably already done that, but that seems like an obvious like eating thing to do for YouTube right now, since that's like so trendy and they're selling out. But literally they're selling out of them at Taco Bell like consistently, which is crazy to me. So if I do that, I'm probably gonna have to go to multiple like different locations just to be able to get like 5 at once, and that's gonna be like a whole task. But stay tuned, subscribe. That might be to come at a later date if that's something you'd be interested in. But I do kind of get why everyone's going so crazy for this Mexican pizza right now, because I definitely remember that nostalgically from when I was a kid going to Taco Bell. I remember that was always one of my mom's favorite things, and she would like always get it whenever we would go. So I'm assuming that other people just kind of feel the same way. They remember eating those like when they were a kid or years ago or whatever. And so now that it's randomly back, they haven't seen it in years, like everyone wants to like get it and try it. It's just like a weird like nostalgic thing. And I sometimes I think it's just me that remembers stuff like that, but I guess obviously not. I guess obviously everyone remembers it nostalgically and just wants to go and get one when they hear it's back. Yeah, I think this is the veggie deluxe, whatever I've moved on to now. That's actually pretty darn good. I've always said that I'm not a huge fan of the ground beef at Taco Bell. I feel like the beans have a lot more like flavor and depth to them than that ground beef. The ground beef is I don't know, there's a little bit falling out of the Gordita. It just tastes, it doesn't really taste plain, but it tastes like, it's got that seasoning on it, but it's not like well seasoned, if that makes sense. If you like watch the Food Network and you're you're like a culinary type of guy. if we can get, you know, it doesn't really have that umami that you're looking for in a truly successful dish. But the beans, they kind of do. They've kind of got that more developed depth of flavor compared to the ground beef. Oh, and also it was a steak quesadilla that I got. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I do like the steak. The ground beef I'm not a huge fan of, but the steak I kind of, for some reason, I've steak quesadilla has kind of been my go-to for a while over chicken, which I know might be kind of controversial, but their steak, it's like, it kind of has that charred, like grilled taste on it, like it was actually cooked on a grill, even though it's just from a frozen bag, heated in boiling water. You know, it has that depth of flavor that the ground beef doesn't have, for me at least. So I don't know. I've always liked their steak for some reason. I don't want to waste any more energy trying to describe it in a culinary way, but suffice to say, I like the steak. So we're gonna go ahead and crack open our Red Bull, I guess. Definitely getting full. I ate the full chicken ranch, whatever, half or so of the quesadilla, all except the giant end slice, which was like half of it. And then I ate half of all the other things I had. So I'm definitely full. I'm not gonna sit here and like overeat just for the sake of the video. I guess we'll sample the orange crush as well. Or no, not orange, the peach. The peach crush. There's a nice view of that for you. Like I said, I feel like I remember having one of these and it was quite good. So yeah, but all this food is cold and I'm full, so I think I'm just gonna save it, maybe finish it later on. Microwave it. For me, like most things, like fast food or whatever, it doesn't taste near as good in microwave. I don't know why, but for some reason reheating it after the fact just isn't the same. But it's cold at this point and I'm full, so yeah, we're just gonna save this, but don't worry, I'm not gonna throw away good food. Yeah, the peach soda is good. It's quite sweet and it has that peachy flavor, but it's like it's well balanced with the sweetness. It's not like overly sugary sweet to where it bites off your tongue. The sugary sweetness is like well balanced and mixed, incorporated with the peachiness. They're like married. They're intertwined perfectly. I'm trying to think if I have any final Taco Bell stories before I sign off. I remember one time, like, yeah, like I said, everything else is like smaller stuff that's not even really an entertaining story. I remember one time the guy who brought like the trucks of the ingredients and stuff, like handed the manager like a small slip of paper, like really like slyly, and I just like noticed them doing that, and I don't know if it was like something to do with like the numbers of the product they had ordered at the store or what it was, but it was just kind of like sketchy to me. It seemed like he was trying to be really like undercover and like handed them this paper, and it just kind of sparked my curiosity. I was like, I wonder what they've got going on. That's kind of bizarre. And then another time I remember one of the employees came in on his day off and ordered like, you know, something with a bunch of like extra stuff on it. And I made it and brought him his order. And I was just thinking, like, really, dog? Like, you gonna come in on your day off and order something complicated when you work here and know that, like, that's annoying to have to do a bunch of extra stuff when we've got other orders we're trying to work on. But he was cool. I wasn't really mad about it like that. It was just kind of funny to me that he would do that. Because I'm the type of person that if I work somewhere, I'm not going to go to eat there on my day off. You know what I mean? If it's my day off, I want to not be there at all. I want to like get away and enjoy myself like completely apart from my job. You know what I mean? So I've never understood that, why people go into their work to eat on their day off. Alright, so if I think of any other stories at any point, I guess I could do a part 2. I've not only worked at Taco Bell, I've worked at Five Guys, Papa John's. I feel like there's some other restaurant. I don't know. If I'm forgetting anything, I've worked at several different restaurants. And so I'm thinking I might do similar videos telling stories from all the different places I worked at and eating there. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in more similar content, let me know your thoughts on Taco Bell in the comments. But I guess that's all for now. Stay tuned. There might be a part 2 if I think of any more stories. Thanks for watching. You're beautiful. Goodbye.